It's time to look at the biggest tech names in the overall market, and we have so many to get through, but of course joining me is Diane Hall, my co-host for the day. So Diane, this space is like, where do you even begin? I think the AI conversation gets overwhelming, but we'll start with, I would say Microsoft is objectively at least was the front runner of the AI arms race, which we haven't said in quite some time. But I mean, OpenAI, I feel like that conversation has fallen out of favor to like the GPUs and the memory space. But hey, this was still the beginning of the hype, and they do have some news that we're going to see some more competition with Alphabet, as those two have been fighting in this large language model space of AI.
Yeah, they have. I mean, and look, Microsoft shares have been marginally higher today. There's a report out from Reuters saying that Microsoft OpenAI set to unveil an AI-powered search engine that would be a competitor to Google. So it's still, once again, kind of coming for Alphabet's territory. And I mean, you know, Microsoft has talked about basically how Google needs to play catch up, to put it mildly, in terms of their. Look, Google's added a Gen AI feature to its own search engine, and Google has, I mean, Alphabet has been playing catch up with Microsoft. Microsoft got in early with OpenAI and making that big investment, and it's really paid off. And year to date, Microsoft up more than 10%. Up more than 11%, honestly, at the moment. So Microsoft has a few things to deal with, obviously, but it has the strength there with AI, the cloud space, and even say, I know we're going to chat about Apple as well. When you compare it to, you know, Apple's challenges in China, Microsoft is just positioned much better in general. And again, when you do the AI arms race competition, Microsoft is the leader, whether you're comparing it to Alphabet or Apple.
Okay, so now, we mentioned Apple, and I think we have to go there next because they have had some news about their iPads this week. They're trying to get into AI. I saw a report from Bloomberg yesterday, and they're really trying to, I think, tout their AI investments, and I think that's encouraging because they've been criticized for not being as ahead of the curve with AI. We do have that WWDC event to look forward to, but it hasn't been Apple's week. I mean, yet again, and it almost feels like now I just was looking at the week-to-date performances, and Apple's modestly lower, and it feels like now we're becoming used to that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Apple, you know, it's had some advertising blemishes. The latest is that iPad Pro ad that they're apologizing for, saying it, quote, missed the mark. It won't be airing on TV anymore. I was surprised by that because I saw I didn't see the full ad, but I was surprised by, you know, kind of what the reaction was and the blowback with regard to it. But Apple has just really faced challenges. There has been a lot of criticism about it being supposedly late to the game in terms of generative AI and how they really should have been a leader there. CEO Tim Cook has argued they were already in the space and that they just don't talk about it as much, but they clearly need to. They need to talk it up more. On their latest earnings call, it was mentioned more times than previously, and they're going to have to continue to double down on both not just the investment, but the, you know, the rhetoric around it and explaining that more to investors, because investors want to hear where it is, especially when you compare it to a Microsoft, and especially when you consider where the share performance is compared to Microsoft. And oh, by the way, they've had to do, you know, dividends to show that they're, you know, they're returning, and that huge buyback to show that the investors should stick with them.
And all of this, I think, is so much more important to the narrative than this whole backlash over the ad, where they were like smashing musical instruments.
I was surprised. I was like, why is that so much backlash?
I know, because I saw that even like Hugh Grant was saying that this is he called this the destruction of the human experience. I mean, this ad was 60 seconds long. Give me a break.
Agreed. I mean, I don't get that. I mean, there are certainly other things that, you know, to be really upset about. But look, you know, Apple is clearly listening to the response to that, and they're saying, okay, fine, we're not going to run that anymore on TV. We'll see what direction that it takes it. I mean, and look, it certainly didn't necessarily help its share price today. I mean, originally they shook it off, but now, you know, it's under some pressure. I wouldn't correlate that to the ad, though.
I know, and I think their iPads are like 7% of their sales at this point. It's like, oh gosh, I roll my eyes. There's too many things to be mad at, like you said, and just focus elsewhere. But we will leave it there.